We're turning a small part of the garden into a suitable spot for wildlife. The bird feeder we made is ready to go into the garden, but first of all, the garden needs to get planted up. Folks, in these planting holes, we're really needing to get in loads and loads of compost. So in there, round, nice big pile, mix that in with this existing soil that you're taking out. Now that's already looking better. That's it. Pop that into the hole, and here, wow, I've got these guys. This is called Eragrostis. Now, this is an indigenous grass species that grows in many of the grasslands of South Africa. It forms this beautiful plume right through the autumn and right through the summer. And these plumes, the birds just love the seed. Often you'll see, if you're driving in the veld, you'll be driving and it looks like grasses, and all of a sudden a swarm of birds just lifts up out of it. Well, this is what they're enjoying. They love the seeds. It's so easy to look after. When it starts looking a bit scraggly, once a year, cut it down hard. And I mean really hard. Cut it down very, very hard, and the little guy will just come out again with this lime green foliage and look beautiful. You know, the other thing that this plant is incredibly good for is holding banks, because it's got this really matted root system, grows very quickly and will hold up any banks, no matter how steep. That's good. There we go. Pop this all back. Gorgeous. Put a couple more of these in. That'll fill this area nicely and be a real little temptation for any birds that are around this garden. To add to our smorgasbord of plants that we're going to be using, I've got a wonderful grass which is called a pennisetum. Now, this is its wonderful flowers. I mean, look at these guys, lovely plumes. The birds just love them, love them. This plant can grow anywhere in South Africa, from where it gets minus degrees, even to right on the coast. It is incredibly versatile. And I'll tell you one other thing, that these plumes are beautiful in a floral arrangement. Now this is a really amazing aloe that I've got. It's called Aloe Dewia, and the thing that I like about it so much, it's a Central African aloe, because it comes from Uganda and the Congo. Now the Central African aloes are amazing because they come from a more tropical climate, which means they're going to flower for you more than once a year. As long as you have it in the right spot, once it's finished flowering, cut back these dead spikes, it will continue to send another flower spike for you. And that is what is amazing about the Central African aloes. So the thing is, with this little guy, you can see a new one is starting to shoot just from the base. Its maximum height is 90 centimeters. So that's the maximum height that it's going to get. Fill up the space really beautifully, and truly is a handsome specimen. This is another one of those awesome aloes that flowers throughout the year in months that you'd least expect an aloe to flower. This aloe is called Orange Express. Doesn't get more than 30 centimeters. You can see the height in this pot, nice and short, sending up these single spikes. This is a relative to hedgehog, the one that you might know, that you might have in your garden. And Orange Express really needs to be in your garden if you want to attract birds. It all. Remember, folks, aloes are incredibly water-wise plants. They don't require much water at all. In fact, once they're established in your garden, you're not even going to need to water them. From a plant like this that's just come out of a garden centre, water it twice a week until you know that it's settled. Obviously, if you're going into winter and you've just planted it, then do water it at least twice a week to make sure that this little guy is going to keep going. Other than that, don't tell it though, it's not very fussy at all. My final plant to finish my smorgasbord for the birds is this little guy. This is called Chasmatium, and it's called the northern sea oats. And you can see why it's called sea oats, because its flowers just look like that. Very, very ornamental, beautifully delicate. In the wind, oh man, doesn't it remind you of wheat fields? Absolutely gorgeous. Birds will love this. Remember, the important thing when you're planning your bird-friendly garden is that you want a smorgasbord. You don't want everything to flower at once. So when you're going to your garden centre, don't choose everything that's got a flower on it. You want some things that aren't going to be in flower, so that you can make sure that every month of the year something is flowering in your garden. Plus then you've got the seeds, which will just supplement their feeding, and that ultimately will be the perfect bird-friendly garden. Alrighty, garden has been planted up. All we need to do now is put our bird feeder up and wait for the birds. So if you are putting any nylon or any rope, that is for that matter, in a tree, it's advisable just to take a little piece of hose pipe like this. Just put it through, because what that does is it stops the nylon from cutting into the tree, because eventually this nylon will actually cut right through the bark and the bark will actually grow over it. Not a very friendly thing for trees. So there we go, Garth, let's just pop him up a little bit more. Okay, let that baby go. Ooh, nice one, baby. And if it's going to be at a height that is too tall for you, so if you're wanting to put it quite high up, if you've got cats in the garden, then simply take this and tie it to another branch. If not, you can decide on your height that you're wanting and then just tie it off. There we go, beautiful stuff. Our little bird feeder, hanging, looking gorgeous. All we need now is a bit of bird seed inside our feeder, and we are good to go. Talking about wildlife gardens, it is probably one of the most frequently asked questions that we have. What plants can I plant? What trees can I plant? What is it that I can do to my garden to make sure that I have more wildlife in the garden? And you know what? There are so many answers to that, and there are so many options, that the best thing that we're going to do for that is for you to visit www.thehomechannel.co.za, and there is a comprehensive list of perennials, trees and shrubs that you can use in your garden to make sure that you're going to attract the best wildlife. Well, folks, I hope that you've been inspired to create a bird feeder just like this, so that you too can attract wildlife into your back garden. Nothing brings more pleasure to a gardener than seeing other wildlife enjoying the fruits of their labour. Till next week, take care of you and yours, and most importantly, happy gardening.
Make 15% more concrete from every bag. The Gardener is brought to you by PPC.